Do you see the two mistakes that I made in this photo? And I know it's a really bad photo, and it's kind of like watching a bad movie that you no longer want to look at. Anyway, here's why this photo fails. So the one thing I did get right is I included a foreground element for added depth, which is what this large rock formation is supposed to do down here at the bottom, but it's not working that well. And then the rest of the image just falls apart from there for two main reasons. First, the composition feels a little disconnected, or a lot disconnected actually. And that's because almost 2/3 of the frame is filled with foliage, and then the background is way off into the distance with nothing connecting the two. And since we don't have a middle ground or no visual bridge, the image feels unfinished. And then the light is flat and boring as well. So during sunrise or sunset, that directional light could have revealed some texture and depth in the landscape, but with this soft, flat light, it's just bland, right? So the second problem is there's no clear hero in the photo. So every good scene, like every good movie, needs a star of the show, something that captures your attention and draws you into the frame. Here, nothing stands out. So I walked a few hundred feet to my, I think it was my right, and how awesome is that? I love it. Now, this is a much stronger composition, even without a person or building, since the main focal point is now the stone formations in the foreground, and they become the star. Plus, I was now shooting during golden hour, and with that golden light spilling across the rocks and the hills, it creates some warmth and contrast that we didn't have earlier in the day. Now, I also intentionally centered this green bush as a foreground anchor to break up the pattern of the rock. And then the warm foreground transitions perfectly into the cooler blues of the distant hills, and that warm to cool contrast adds depth and dimension. Now we have clear layers from the foreground to the background, and your eye naturally moves through the frame. If you want to master compositions, then comment the word composition, and I'll send you a DM with a link to learn more about creating better images you'll be proud of.